Energy Medicine Foundation training. Meeting number 3. Focus of our meeting today is the Rajasic Energy Balancing Session and our understanding Rajasic contacts. Let's open up our screen share. And our focus, as we explained last week, we're always working with the body, not as having energy, but the body as a field of energy. And there's a profound harmony, a nesting of wholeness on every level of macrocosm and microcosm. Fundamental to this wholeness is the principle of polarity, that energy always moves from the source and nucleus out into the field and then returns to that source. A neutral, positive, negative flow of energy. Energy is always flowing.
And how is it going to...
Energy is always flowing from the source out into the field. Sattva, the source, a communion with being. Being is infinite and is all pervasive as Brahma, existence itself, and Brahma manifests as Sattva Guna, the force of equilibrium in nature. And as we've said, in all vibration, and understanding that vibration is sacred sound, and that sacred sound is made of 2 fundamental sounds, the solar and the lunar, the yang and the rajas, the creative, and tamas, which means to perish, the yang out breath and the yin in breath. Everything that lives breathes through a cycle of yang and yin, fire and water, rajas and tamas. That this polarity is fundamental to all life on every level of microcosm and macrocosm, birth and death in each breath. And that this rhythm is vibratory, and that all vibration on every level is sacred sound vibration. And that when these 2 forces, rajas and tamas, touch, there's a still point where these 2 resonances cancel each other. These 2 waves cancel each other and entrain the sattva guna, the universal force of being, the source, the force of equilibrium. That this system self-corrects in every cycle, from the most nano quark to the galactic, every point where the fields of sattva, rajas intersect on each level of quark and atom, molecule, and cell, and each radiation of yang and yin. There is a point of self-correction. The 2 fields cancel each other out and sattva guna. So the field is profoundly harmonious. And because of its constant communion with being, constant communion with sattva guna, the force of equilibrium. Now, in our body, we call sattva guna the air principle. And the air principle is embodied in the transverse currents, which circle the body on every level of microcosm and macrocosm. And these are currents which flow from the periphery to the core and are the feedback mechanism, that in every moment the body is a totality, and every level of microcosm is connected to the core in a field of awareness, so that you can feel the tiniest pinprick here. And that is carried to the core of the nervous system as an input to self-correct and enter into the homeostasis of the body. So that this process of self-correction is embodied in the parasympathetic nervous system, which connects every level of organization in the body to the central nervous system, and ultimately to the core, to enter into the process of self-correction to maintain the homeostasis of the organism. That is Sattva Guna, embodied in the air principle, ruling the transverse currents, and embodied in the parasympathetic nervous system. The fire principle is embodied in Rajas Guna. Rajas means to glow with excitement, and fire is the creative energy, the transformational energy, the working energy in the body, the vital energy that defines the body from within to without. Its power. Now, fire manifests on three levels, or we work with fire in three ways. So fire rules vitality. It's the fire, okay, of creativity, the fire of personal power. So fire rules the functioning of the organs in the body. Fire is embodied in the red tissue of the musculature and organs of the body. The fire center radiates like a whirling centrifugal fountain spray from deep in the umbilical center to define the body from within to without. So first we work with the fire center, this radiance of energy from the dantian below the navel, from the cauldron of fire that's in the pit of the belly, which is the fire of personal power, which spirals out of the umbilicus to envelop the body in a field of vital energy. Its neutral pole, its source, is just below the umbilicus. It radiates up positively as the diaphragm and solar plexus, and it radiates down negatively as the thighs. So here we are seeing that field. Its source is at the umbilicus. It radiates up as the solar plexus and the diaphragm, and it radiates down. Its negative field is the thigh. So the source is this fire center deep in the belly below the navel. It radiates up as the solar plexus, and all of these fiery organs of digestion, the gallbladder, liver, the stomach, the spleen, the pancreas, and then the negative pole of this fire, which is the functioning, the working energy in the body, is the thighs, where we walk our talk and we express that in the world. So we work with fire in three ways: the fire center, the fire principle is another level of fire. Now, in the fire principle, we understand that a level of fire is the fire of vision. That the sense that is ruled by fire is the eyes. If you have problems with your eyes, it can be an indication of an issue of repressed rage or anger and imbalance in your personal power. That the eyes ruled by fire we call this the brow center. And here we have fire as the fire of vision, because again, that idea, that vision is the seed of your directed energy, and is the seed of your personal power is in your vision, and your action, the seed of that is in your vision. So we call this level of fire at the third eye, the brow center, and it is the fire of vision as the source of the second level of fire that we work with. So this level of fire rules digestion in a powerful, powerful way. And we call this the fire principle. The energy of the body is always moving from within to without, from the core out in the field, so that the core energy is ether, and then there's a field of air, and then there's a field of fire, water, earth, as we move from within to without, from subtle to gross, from spirit to matter. So here from each of the chakras is sustaining one of the fields that's embodied in the fingers and toes. So the third chakra, the solar plexus chakra, sustains this field of fire. sustains this field of fire, which is embodied in the fire finger and in the middle toe, the fire toe. So this field, so let's say here's ether, air, and this field of fire is embodied in important ways in this fire principle, which is similar to a meridian. It has its positive poles as the fire of vision, we're saying, at the brow center. It has its neutral pole at the umbilicus, and it has its negative pole at the first phalange of the air toe. Air stimulates fire. You want to start a fire, you blow on it. You want someone to move into action, you speak to them. So air stimulates fire. Well, for our purpose here, we work with this fire principle at the duodenum, which is the key to your receptivity to your environment. Now, in our understanding of energy, everything about your environment is energy that is either toxic and stressing your system or is nourishing your system. So everything about your environment is energy that's somehow affecting the equilibrium of your body as a whole. So that the amount of noise, the amount of harmony or disharmony, the amount of drama, emotion, chaos. So it's certainly, when you're in the forest, it's deeply nourishing. And when you're downtown or next to the freeway somewhere, or in a cave, in a Costco or a big box store somewhere, that is taxing your equilibrium. So the key, it's like the center of that whole field, and the key to opening up your receptivity on your left side is the duodenum. Now, the duodenum, we call this reflex the duodenum. The duodenum is the valve at the center, at the bottom of the stomach. Before that, you can vomit and expel something that's toxic, but at the duodenum, it starts to flow into the deeper levels of your assimilation, of your digestion, and starts to become you. So duodenum is the emotional seat of your ability to integrate your environment. And a duodenal ulcer, for example, is an inflammation of the duodenum due to your ability to tolerate the toxicity in your environment. We're talking about the emotional toxicity, the stress, the relationships, the anger, the disharmony. And that's usually expressed in a duodenal ulcer. So for our purposes, we make these important contacts to work with the fire principle at the duodenum, the key to opening a person's left side. So as we said a moment ago, the eyes are the sense that is ruled by fire. So you can look at your client's eyes, and if the left side is much smaller than the right, that means the energy field on their whole left side is contracted. It's likely that their left leg is even shorter. Their left shoulder is dropped. Their left hip is dropped. And you can see that in that left eye, indicating that the left side of their energy field, the left side of their body, is contracted. And you can counter that with contacts from the brow center to the duodenum and contacts from the duodenum to the air toe on the left side. In the same way, this same point here on the right side is a reflex to opening up the right side of the body. So if the right eye is smaller, that indicates frustration. That indicates someone who's not in their power. That indicates someone who's contracted on the right side, is holding back their self-expression, who doesn't feel safe to express their needs or express who they are in the world. And there's a key to opening up the right side at the duodenum. In TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, duodenum is called the the gallbladder. The gallbladder is called the decision maker. That the gallbladder is what opens up the energy to the liver. where we live, where we express our life, where we express our personal power, where we express our vitality. So these are very, very powerful points, key to opening up the receptivity at the duodenum, and the key to opening up the decision maker, the executive here at the gallbladder and liver on the right side of the body, right here at the solar plexus, right here at the solar plexus, right where the diaphragm, right here at the diaphragm in the solar plexus. So here a contact from the duodenum to the first phalange of the air toe can help to open up the fire principle. And again, this is fire as our personal power, fire as our self-expression, fire as a vehicle for expressing our needs, our creativity, for our participating in the world. So we're saying the duodenum is key to receptivity, opening the left side of the body, the emotional seat of the fire principles, neutral contacts below the sternum and to the first phalange of the air toe are powerful for opening up these contacts. Positive pole contacts are here at the jaw, and there are also contacts here at the iliacus muscles to this important meridian of energy, this important field of energy. Another level, so we're talking about the three ways we work in fire. Here we work pumping vitality, radiating out through the body through blood, what we call bloodless surgery, out to the solar plexus, and from the solar plexus to the thighs. Here we work with this meridian, the fire principle, and here we work with contacts which work with the fundamental fire of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Now, in our understanding, these glyphs are not symbols, arbitrary carriers of meaning. These glyphs for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius are archetypal energy patterns. Aries, which is your vision, that seed, that idea. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and it rules that mental pattern, that idea, which is the seed of manifestation, that vision. And it rules the way energy moves from the third eye as the field of the two lobes of the brain. Here we take Prakriti, universal creative energy, and it radiates out at the two lobes of the brain, in which we personify the mental plane, in which we take universal energy and we personalize it. And we personalize it into our vision, the seed of our idea, the seed of our manifestation. Then we embody this at Leo, the solar plexus, the soul, the seat of the sun, our personal power. The solar plexus is the very core of who we are, in which we embody our vision and our principles in our life. Then here we see in Sagittarius, we're seeing the navel, the fire center, pressing down through the thighs against the earth. Here you're seeing the earth. The earth is a balance of above and below and within and without that gives a stable cube of the earth. And here we're seeing this challenge that each of us have, which is to express our personal power in this dimension of the earth. So here we're seeing how that seed is embodied and then expressed as we walk our talk on the earth. So we work with this, for instance, in the Leo Sagittarius rock, we work with the earth, with the fire triad. Now, here we're looking at bloodless surgery. And in bloodless surgery, we radiate energy from the umbilicus out through the thighs or down to the calves. Again, working with these spiral currents and just strengthening them as we do a rock from the solar plexus or pelvis down through the thighs or to the calves or up into the shoulders. Now, fire is embodied in the body in two really powerful fields. The shoulders are a positive field in which we express our fire. This is, again, this fire of this creative energy, which is expressed through your chest as you take up space and as you are inspired, in your shoulders where you carry the burden of your life, and through your biceps and arms where you reach out to express yourself in the world. So we make contacts here in these fiery positive fields, or down in your thighs where you walk your talk. Your hips and thighs are an important fiery field in the body. So, and then again, we will take this fiery energy and we'll radiate it down to the umbilical reflexes here midline at the heel, making sure this fiery energy is getting to the heel. So typically, we will be radiating contacts to the third eye and to the heel as part of this same fiery balancing. So you can take this fiery energy and you can pulse it out to anywhere in the body. You can take the energy of the fire center below the navel and you can just radiate out to just anywhere in the body. Now, one of the ways that we do this is in the five-pointed star. So here we're looking at the chart of the five-pointed star. So it's important to understand that when we're dealing with energy, we're always dealing with a field that's moving from the source out into the field and returning to the source. So we're always concerned with the flow of energy. And usually the problem with the flow of the energy is in the negative field where we give birth to that energy into the world. And when we don't feel safe in our personal power, that energy gets stuck, that the confused and contradictory mental and emotional impulses end up as stress, body armoring, and trauma. So the key to freeing up that energy is working with the negative pole, but not working just with the negative pole, which is embodied in the pelvis, but working with it with an understanding of its relationship to the positive pole up above the diaphragm and its source in the heart, in the core. So that every part of the body is part of a rhythm of neutral, positive, and negative. So, for instance, here in the iliopsoas muscle on the right side, we have reflexes to the stomach up above. Here in the iliopsoas muscles on the left side, we have reflexes to the liver up above. Here we see these colon reflexes going all the way up to the foramen magnum and throat, that if you're not expressing yourself in your throat, it's going to lead to constipation. If you're not here in the diaphragm, if you're not expressing your emotions, it's going to lead to constipation down in the colon. Here it's showing the ovaries and the way they reflex to the breast up above. So that Dr. Stone has in his material there, has castor oil compresses on the back behind the breast as a way of treating ovarian problems, working to stimulate this neutral field and deep penetration of heat in the neutral field as a way of working with issues in the negative field. So you can find that wisdom of traditional naturopathy buried in Dr. Stone's work. Now You can go online and find the digital Dr. Stone, and you can do a keyword search for ovary or castor oil and find your way to this therapeutic approach from classic naturopathy, classic 19th century naturopathy that you find in the wisdom of Dr. Stone's work. So please understand that the body is always breathing, and the breath is a gestalt made up of water, but water in its relationship to fire, that the water is never vibrating alone, it's vibrating as an expression of fire. That fire is always expressed working in relationship to water, and they're all part of a gestalt that we'll call air here. So above and below are always mother and child. And this is embodied in the dynamics of the five-pointed star. So here in the fire session and in the air session, we're going to be working with the five-pointed star. Now, in this session, we also worked with the six-pointed star, which worked with a profound relationship between these two fields of fire at the hips and the shoulder. Let me find the chart of the six-pointed star here for a moment. We've been talking about working with fire through bloodless surgery and the fire center, working with the fire principle, working with the fire element triad, and working with the six-pointed star, which are all going to be embodied in the energy balancing session that we're going to be learning today. So in the next portion of our program, you're going to be going through the lead through, which will show you how the fire center, the fire principle, and the fire element triad are integrated into this very powerful Rajasic energy balancing session. Again, Rajas Guna is the embodiment of fire in all the red tissue of the body and the functioning of the organs and the musculature in our personal power and in our eyes and our expression of our creativity and embodiment of our personal power. So this session enhances vitality, releases anger, envy, jealousy, bitterness, frustration, and opens up our creativity and self-expression. So please email me with your questions about the Rajasic energy balancing session. We'll be covering this material, we'll be going over all this material again next week. And any questions that you send me, I'll be very happy to discuss. In the meantime, you'll find links to the Rajasic energy balancing session, which will take you to YouTube, and the Rajasic energy balancing lead through. Do that lead through a couple of times, and then email me your questions. Thank you very much for your focus and attention. We dedicate our efforts to a vision of a springtime of humanity, where all humanity makes a leap in consciousness and realizes the unity and divinity of all life, where we cherish our Mother Earth as our own mother, where we share with each other as brothers and sisters for all our relations. Hariom Tat Sat, Ahom Takwiyasa. May peace and justice prevail.